These four men attacked Aaron in First Street, just off McLean Avenue in Woodlawns, New York, on the 17th of March, St. Patrick's Day, 2015. Now, I know we are concentrating on Daniel Cahill's statement to An Garda Síochána, but as with everything we have put together in Aaron's campaign, one jigsaw piece fits into the next. So these four men are Aidan Kearns, Davy Cushion, and the two main protagonists we want to look at here is Daniel Cahill and Anthony Gerard Maguire. Now, Maguire and Cahill, both drug dealers, both illegal immigrants, both criminals, and they give statements against Aaron. And in Cahill's statement, Maguire is mentioned. We're going to look at this very briefly at this stage, but what we are going to do is it's going to take a number of videos and hours to break down the significance of these two players in the framing of our son, Aaron. But this initial little video is just to let you, the public, see and let everyone know that these two men here are total liars. And you'll see from the statements, from the videos of them giving the statements, or the statement being read back to Maguire by Detective Mark Phillips, how big a liars these two bastards are. So the longest part of this is, please bear with us, it's only 4 minutes of Anthony Gerard Maguire's statement being read back to him by Detective Mark Phillips, and also in the room, you'll just hear a voice, is Detective Jim McGovern. So let's have a little listen to this statement being read back to the drug dealer and convicted criminal Anthony Gerard Maguire.
And I sat down on it. The barman came over and I asked him, could he change a check? He said he would, and that it would take a few minutes, and he said it would cost $20. The barman was Irish, black hair, very muscly with tattoos. I don't know his name. I ordered a glass of water while I was waiting. I saw a fella to my left, nearly touching shoulder distance away. He was wearing an Ireland green soccer jersey, no collars on it. He was a blocky fella. He had dark hair combed forward with a cow's lick at the front. He had no beard, pale complexion. He was in the company of about 3 others. There was one really tall fella with him. He was skinny, loud laugh. He was kind of goofy. By that I mean he was the one doing all the silly giggling. He wore a lot of rings on his right hand. They were rings made of coins. I can't say what colour. I can't describe him better. I don't know his name. The second fella was ginger, short hair with a skinny face, taller than me. Might have been wearing green, a little unshaven. I can't describe the third fella. I wasn't staring at these guys. The ginger fella was standing the closest to the blocky fella in the Ireland jersey. These guys were having a conversation, the blocky fella and the ginger fella, but the other two were in on the conversation. The nature of the conversation was, do you think you have what it takes to kill a man? The blocky man in the green jersey said those exact words. The other 3 of his friends were saying, I don't know, or maybe. These 4 guys were right beside me. The blocky fella was right beside me. I was listening to this conversation and I'm saying to myself, who are these guys talking about what it takes to kill a man? The ginger fella whispered something in the blocky fella's ear. Immediately the blocky fella in the jersey turned to me and said, well, do you think you have what it takes to kill a man? I replied to him, no, why do you? He said, yes, that's the reason I'm over here. I shot that guard in Loud. I automatically linked his comment to the guard who had been shot in Dundalk a couple of years earlier. I was drinking my water. I got a lump in my throat when I heard this. I was angry when I heard this comment. I couldn't help myself. I said to him, do you think you're cool bragging about shooting a guard? You're a scumbag. That was the last thing I said to him. I had already got my money from the barman and was getting ready to leave when the blocky fella asked me the question about shooting a man. When the blocky fella said this to me, it was like he didn't care. He had a smirk on his face. He was bragging about it. One of his mates said to him to shut up. I don't know which one. I just wanted to get away. I could feel that something was going to happen. The only other person that I interacted with in the bar was the barman. I didn't even use the bathroom. There was no live music in the bar. There was a good crowd in the bar. It was packed for St. Patrick's Day. That's why these guys were up so tight to me. I was only in the bar about 20 or 30 minutes. I had no alcohol in the bar, only water. I remember when the blocky fella said, do you think you have what it takes to kill a man? And the other 3 in his group were saying, I don't know, maybe. I heard the ginger fist me open. There was a lot of blood. He then hit me with his left fist and right fist. I fell to the ground. He knelt down and put his right knee into my neck. He said, keep your mouth shut or you know what will happen to you. I saw the ginger fella from the bar up a bit on the street. I heard him say, come on Aaron, come on Aaron. The ginger fella lifted Aaron off me and broke up the fight. They both walked up Katona Avenue up the hill. It was all over very fast. I took off my t-shirt and held it to my head. I ran down towards the Rambling House bar to get a black cab back home to the city. Nobody came to my assistance when I was assaulted, and I saw no one that I knew. I got home, Christopher was working. I went in and cleaned myself up. I stayed in my room. I didn't seek medical treatment because I didn't have insurance. The next day I couldn't go to work. I couldn't go for the whole weekend. I told Amanda that I just got beat up. At the time I didn't know who had assaulted me, only that his name was Aaron. I looked up Facebook to try and find the identity of Aaron. There were a couple of pictures of the Crossmaglen Rangers. I knew that the fella who had assaulted me had a Crossmaglen accent. My friend Connor Hughes had a photo on his Facebook of a photo where Drum and T were playing Crossmaglen Rangers. I saw the picture of the fella who assaulted me in the Crossmaglen jersey. There were names under the picture identifying this person as Aaron Brady. He was standing on the right hand side of the picture at the back as you looked at it. There were fellas kneeling in the front. I could match the name of the team on the team sheet with the face in the picture to the man who had assaulted me. I did this a couple of days after the assault. I didn't report the assault to the police. The only thing that people knew...
Sorry, just a point of clarification here, yeah? The name on the team sheet, which was Aaron Brady, yeah?
We could match the name on the team sheet.
Sorry.
Okay, which was Aaron Brady. So the name of the team sheet, Anthony,
Yes.
said Aaron Brady.
Yes.
There was the words, yeah?
Yeah, there was names under the picture identifying this person as Aaron Brady. Have it there. I could match the name on the team sheet, which was Aaron Brady, with the face in the picture to the man who had assaulted me. I did this a couple of days after the assault. I didn't report the assault to the police. The only thing that people knew was that I had been fighting. I did not...
So that's Anthony Gerard Maguire giving a statement. Very briefly, this is Anthony Gerard Maguire's rap sheet where he was caught in Northern Ireland in 2014 with £30,000 worth of cocaine, £30,000 worth of cash, marijuana and ammunition. He left Ireland, left his partner and child or children behind him and fled to America. He was subsequently extradited back to Ireland. There was a small bit of news coverage in the January when this happened in 2023, and then the whole coverage went completely quiet. And would you believe Anthony Gerard Maguire is now back in the United States of America? So that's a brief synopsis of Maguire's interactions with the extraditions and the authorities, which we have delved into in greater detail in other videos, and we will bring that to you again also. But what we want to, I suppose the takeaway point is very, very simple there. Anthony Gerard Maguire went into a pub on St. Patrick's Day, believe it or not. He wasn't drinking, he was changing a check, he was there for 20 or 30 minutes. You heard the story, such bullshit. Standing beside some fellas, start talking, have you got what it takes to kill someone? And we will bring this back round, and it's the exact same words was allegedly said to Daniel Cahill. But again, we'll go into all this detail as we go through the next few videos. So then the altercation went outside, and Maguire says that Aaron attacked him for no reason on the street and cut him above the eye. So to clear the cut above the eye, Aaron most certainly did hit Anthony Gerard Maguire and cut him above the eye. That, no problem with, that is 100% correct. But Aaron struck Anthony Gerard Maguire on St. Patrick's night after those four men broke into his apartment and beat him to a pulp. So not only did they break into the apartment, they broke into the apartment and beat Aaron to a pulp. Four men, Ado Kieran, Davy Cushion, Anthony Gerard Maguire and Daniel Cahill. Now the reason for that attack was a rumour that was started in relation to a girl that was in a relationship at the time with Ado Kieran, and something got to do with Aaron and Aaron's flatmate. And it was nothing more than a rumour that even Daniel Cahill in his testimony sort of later found out that the rumour was lies. Now he denied this attack in his testimony, which we'll cover later, but he knows a lot of information about it. But we will go into all that detail. So the takeaway point from this is very simple. Anthony Gerard Maguire didn't know who attacked, didn't know anything about him, and he done a wonderful piece of detective work. He knew he had a Crossmaglen accent. Oh God, it's very hard to stomach and listen to this shit. Aaron wasn't born and brought up in Crossmaglen, so he doesn't have a Crossmaglen accent. Notwithstanding that, we leave it at that. And he done this great bit of detective work, and he got his friend Connor Hughes to show him a picture of an under 14 team, and the names was on it, as you heard. So the takeaway point here is that Anthony Gerard Maguire didn't know this man who attacked him, who he later found out was Aaron Brady, and this was the statement that was intended to be brought to court. But the statement or Anthony Gerard Maguire didn't come to court, because Anthony Gerard Maguire sent a letter via his lawyer to the Irish authorities and to this man here, and told the court that he didn't want to have anything more to do with the Aaron Brady case. He was put under severe duress to make a statement. So again, we've covered that in great detail previously, and we will cover it again for people just joining the campaign now. So he doesn't know, Anthony Gerard Maguire doesn't know Aaron Brady. So let's have a little listen to Daniel Cahill's take on a conversation he had with Mr. Maguire in relation to Aaron Brady.
Can you recall any other incidents where there was fights or altercations or situations where this information in relation to the murder of a gardener was disclosed? I remember one time there was a fight between Anthony and a lad from Northern Ireland who would be, I'm not particularly friends with him, but him and Aaron Brady knew each other from home. Okay,
so there we have it. Daniel Cahill tells us him and Aaron Brady knew each other from home. So that debunks the whole story told by Anthony Gerard Maguire. But we're going to look at another little clip here, but because there's so much information in these small clips, Gill, that's the detective most of you would have seen, where he tried to prompt Cahill to say the word shotgun. He done that, we've covered that. But Gill says to him, so can you recall any other incidents where there was fights or collisions or situations where this information into the relation of the murder of the guard was disclosed? And that's how Cahill goes on to tell there was an incident with Anthony Gerard Maguire. We'll have another wee look at it. But there's 5-6 pages of how Gill is trying to get Anthony Gerard Maguire not only to say about the shotgun, but trying to get Cahill to say about Anthony Gerard Maguire's cut and his eye. We know he done the gun thing, and but we break that down all in future videos coming shortly. Just one more little clip here, and this is where Cahill, he has already confirmed that Maguire and Aaron knew each other from back home in Ireland, which they did. So let's have a little listen, and you'll hear the full details of how Cahill knew that Maguire knew Aaron.
What you said there was that he said, tell us about that again. What Anthony said to me was that you know Aaron Brady, you know, he's the guy who shot that cop in Ireland. And I was like, sure, I know that, he told me. Yeah. You know. And they had a tiff for whatever reason that was, that they had a fight. And yeah, but what did Aaron Brady say to you? Sorry. Aaron Brady's walking on the street. Anthony told me, Anthony was basically, here comes Aaron Brady, I know him from home, me and him, like, we had a problem. And I was like, alright. And he was like, you know who he is, don't you? And I'm like, okay, who is he? He's the boy who shot. He's the boy who shot the guard.
So I think that's quite clear. We'll run through it again, folks. Cahill says, Anthony said that Aaron was known to be. So Cahill's saying what Anthony said. What Aaron was known to be, well, he didn't say he was known to be. So again, he's getting the stories all mixed up. But I don't think it was he didn't like him. I think what you said there was that he said, just tell us about that again. Here we go. Cahill tells us, what Anthony said to me was that, you know Aaron Brady, you know he's the guy who shot the cop in Ireland. And I said, sure, I know. He told me. And then Cahill goes on to say, Anthony told me. Anthony was basically, here comes Aaron Brady. I know him from home. Me and him, like, we had a problem. And I said, all right. And he goes like, you know who he is, don't you? And I was like, okay, who is he? He's the boy who shot. And then Detective Gill finishes the story. The boy who shot the Garda. So it's only two very short clips. And as I said, there's mountains more of contradictions and lies in the full extent of these short clips. And we will delve into those. And the important thing to see here quite clearly is Anthony Maguire doesn't know Aaron Brady, didn't know him, didn't know who, had to go look at an under 14 photograph and his friend Connor Hughes' phone to identify him. And then, so just to confirm, everything comes back round and the truth always comes to the top, always comes to the fore. I'm just going to listen to another gentleman who gave a false statement against Aaron, but I've had several conversations with Ronan Flynn, and let's listen to what Ronan Flynn tells us about Daniel Cahill.
It's
Yeah, but here, not just that. They're going off witnesses. I was in fucking America. I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I was in America since 2010. Dano, whatever the fuck his name is, him and Aaron, he came in, he broke into our house and we were over here. Him and Aaron don't even get on.
Yeah.
So that statement should have been fucked out the window because that's fucking pure lies.
Yeah, well, you can confirm that Dano was one of the boys that broke in, him and Anthony Maguire, that kicked the door in and gave Aaron the beating that night. Like, Dano denied that in court.
Whenever Aaron called us from fucking, me and Mickey were in the bar and we came over and we fucking had the place wrecked.
Yes. Yeah. See, he denied that in court.
And Molly, my sister informs me and everything. And over here, and I just, you know, at this point, then I got that call from the guards. Were like, oh, you know, was anybody, were they intimidating you not to go home? I said, no, the fucking only people who were intimidating me were the guards. And then they were like, oh, never mind, okay, bye, and hung up the phone because they knew that they were getting themselves in shit.
That is only one of several phone conversations I had with Ronan Flynn. I have them recorded. I would have liked to have the other ones here, but I don't keep all the information, recordings and everything here in the house. But I will get, as we delve into this more, about Daniel Cahill telling lies in his testimony about the attack on Aaron. And the reason why this is so vital, because, well, apart from anything else, Daniel Cahill denied that it happened. That's the first thing on the oath, when he was challenged by Aaron's defence barrister, Mr. Justin McQuaid. So he purged himself about it. But not only that, it renders the statement useless, his statement useless, because he's describing sort of cosy chats with Aaron, even though Aaron's out to been allegedly drinking for 15 or 16 hours. These chats where these confessions were made. And again, I'm going to have to keep reminding people, the man who shot her mother, Detective Gill, Adrian Donoghue, is over 6 feet tall. Aaron Brady is 5'7". So even if Aaron Brady went round and told the 8 million people in New York that he shot Detective Gill, Adrian Donoghue, it's physically impossible. So Ronan tells us that Cahill broke into the house and attacked Aaron and racked the house. And again, comes back round to what we keep saying. Everything we say in Aaron's campaign comes back round and fits into place. The guards rang Ronan and asked him, was the Bradys, was anyone intimidating you not to come home? And Ronan said no. The only people that was intimidating him was the guards. So the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign is continuously proven correct. And as it unfolds and as all these little bits come forward, the story is 100% true. So the man who shot and murdered Detective Gill Adrian Donahue is still walking free, and this man doesn't give a jot, doesn't care. Doesn't care one jot. So very simply, you have Maguire and Cahill were friends. They attacked Aaron. They both, obviously, Maguire never came to court. Maguire, the drug dealer from Northern Ireland, was friends with the drug dealer Daniel Cahill in New York. They attacked Aaron. Cahill denied it on the oath, and because that attack happened, it renders the statement that Maguire gave, obviously, is a total tissue of lies. We've proven that. Even just with these two statements proves that the little bits we've shown you proves 100% conclusively that they're both telling fucking lies. And we're going to go into much more detail about what Daniel Cahill says about Anthony Maguire. Anthony Maguire's tiff with Aaron Brady. He more or less, so what these two criminals are doing is they're sort of using that night that they attacked Aaron to fit into a sort of a narrative that this is where they met and this is where the interactions took place. If that makes sense. It's quite obvious when you have the detailed knowledge I have, it fits into place quite simply. But hopefully those simple little clips, I think there's 4 minutes and just over a minute. So there's 5 minutes of clips there. Please watch them again. Watch Maguire. Please watch Cahill. And you will see that these men are liars and the whole story is a crock of shit. But Aaron still remains incarcerated for a crime he couldn't have physically committed. So once again, thank you for watching. We're going to go into much more detail on Maguire and Cahill and their associates, Davy Cushion and Edo Kieran. And they're all mentioned in the... See, when you're trying to hide lies, it's just simply not possible on the scale they tried to do it. And we will pick each and every one of them. Once again, we've shown Daniel Cahill's statement being taken. We've shown Maguire's statement being read back to him. If these scumbags were telling the truth, where is the media? Why aren't they coming riding in on the night in the white Charger, coming forward to save these upstanding citizens who came forward out of empathy for Detective Gill Adrian Donahue? See the likes of them two boys. I know what they thought of the guards, as well as you do, because you've seen their pedigree. You've seen what they're made of and what they deal in. So there we go, folks. Back with the next video. We're actually going to show, to prove that Aaron's campaign has been steady all along. I think it's from 2 years ago. The next video we're going to show is where we looked at it back in 2022, possibly, where Cahill, Maguire and Morton were all linked. And the Justice for Aaron Brady campaign is proven once again to be telling 100% of the truth. Thank you. See you all in the next video. Thank you.